This Cinco de Mayo, try something different by whipping up a dish of rich and deeply savory mole enchiladas. Packed with juicy chicken and smothered in a bold and earthy quick mole sauce, these enchiladas will hit the spot and leave you with plenty of homemade chicken stock, aka liquid gold. We'll kick things off by making that homemade chicken stock, and that'll start with a couple of ribs of celery that I'm just going to chunk up into a few inch long pieces. We'll do the same thing with a couple of carrots, no need to peel or stem them. And then we'll go ahead and quarter one white or yellow onion. Again, no need to peel that. I'm going to toss in maybe a tablespoon or so of peppercorns, some kosher salt, and then 2 to 3 cloves of garlic, which I'm going to just lightly smash and peel. Then go ahead and toss those in as well. You could add other herbs and aromatics here, but I'm going to keep it pretty simple with just those basic flavors and a couple of bay leaves. I'm also going to grab a 5 to 6 pound chicken, remove any goods and guts in the middle there, pop that in the pot and cover with plenty of clean, cold water. You just want to bring this up to the level of the chicken. There's those bay leaves I mentioned just a minute ago. We'll go ahead and bring this up to a simmer. Go ahead and reduce the heat just down to a bare simmer. Pop a lid on and cook for 45 minutes to an hour or until the chicken is all the way cooked through in the deepest part of the meat. Looking for 170 degrees or so. I'm going to go ahead and give this chicken a flip halfway. I'm just being a little paranoid. I know it's going to cook all the way through, but I wanted to go ahead and let those breasts hang out in that broth. And then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and strain this broth using both a strainer and some cheesecloth to make sure any fine particulates do not pass through. Then we'll take that cheesecloth and pick it up. You can use the back of a ladle if you'd like to smush out any extra liquid and broth and stock in those veggies. And then there you go, one big beautiful pot of liquid gold, aka homemade chicken stock. Once that chicken has cooled off, just so you can touch it, go ahead and shred all of the chicken off of that carcass and discard the bones. They've given up their goodness into that broth that we made just a moment ago. I am going to go ahead and use the dark meat and the light meat here, but of course if you're picky, you do you. We'll season that chicken with some salt and pepper and then add in 1 can of green chilies. And then just go ahead and shred this chicken up as fine or as chunky as you'd like. I really wanted to keep this relatively large and chunky, so as you can see, didn't shred it up too finely, just made sure that seasoning and those peppers were well distributed. Next up, we'll turn to our mole sauce. Now I'm going to use a mole paste. Traditional mole sauce takes a couple of days, well, at least quite a few hours, and a ton of ingredients, and this is a great little cheat code that does not require you to go to the Hispanic store and fill up your cart with a bunch of stuff you're only going to use once. So we'll add that to a pan along with some peanut butter, a packet of Sazon seasoning for extra umami and salt, and a couple of ounces of dark bitter chocolate, not looking for any extra sweetness here. Then we'll go ahead and add in a couple of ladles of that beautiful chicken stock. And then we're just going to go ahead and slowly work that paste around and dissolve it into that chicken stock or chicken broth. You're going to want to follow the directions on your can or jar of mole paste. Mine call for about 4 to 1 broth or stock to mole paste. So I just continue to add that and stir until it reached the consistency and flavor I was looking for. Then just let it simmer for a few minutes and we were ready to build our mole enchiladas. First, I'm going to grab a corn tortilla. Could use flour, but this is pretty traditional with corn. We'll go ahead and plop that down into our mole sauce. I'm just doing one side here. That should be enough to get it nice and pliable for us. We'll shake off any excess mole. Don't worry, we're going to top it with plenty more here in just a moment. And then I'm going to use some tongs and just spoon in a couple ounces of that chicken and green chili filling. Again, no need to pack these too full here. We're going to make quite a few and fill this 13 by 9 baking dish. I should mention we'll go ahead and preheat our oven to 375 as well, and just rinse and repeat until we have used up all of our filling. Then we'll top these with a little bit of extra mole. It is a pretty potent sauce, so no need to totally douse these and cover them. You just want a nice thin layer over all of your tortillas so they do not dry out in the oven. Speaking of which, that's where I'm going to tuck these for just about 15 or 20 minutes. Everything's already cooked. We're just trying to warm those tortillas through, set that mole sauce on there, and there you go. Some beautiful, dark mahogany, almost burnished looking mole enchiladas. Now, they're just fine on their own, but we need to garnish these, and I'm going to begin that process with a few thinly sliced radishes, a couple ounces of some queso fresco or cotija cheese, a few pickled onions. You're going to find that this dish needs acidity, and I was all out of limes, so the pickled onions were the perfect little acid touch. Finally, for a pop of color and even more freshness, I'm adding some cilantro leaves, and that is our enmoladas or mole enchiladas. Thanks so much for watching, guys. These are beautiful, earthy, and unctuous. You can fill them with any kind of meat that you have on hand. That mole sauce comes together super fast. These are really a wonderful weeknight treat or a great way to celebrate Cinco de Mayo. So however you choose to celebrate, I do genuinely hope you will get out of here and go make something delicious.